A very good morning, students. Today we are going to study your ninth class chapter 2, The Adventures of Toto from your Moments book. This is your supplementary book. This is written by Ruskin Bond. Let us see about the author. Ruskin Bond is an Indian author of British descent. He lives with his adopted family in Landore, Missouri, India. He is an Indian author of British descent. He is considered to be an icon among Indian writers and children's authors and a top novelist. He prolifically authored inspiring children's books and was awarded the Satya Akademi Award to honor his work of literature. Let us see the brief introduction of this chapter. The Adventures of Toto is an amusing story by Ruskin Bond, highlighting the antics of a mischievous monkey. The narrator's grandfather was fond of animals. One day he bought a baby monkey from a Tonga driver and named it Toto. He wanted Toto because he had already possessed several animals, big and small, such as tortoise, squirrel, a pair of rabbits, and a goat. But he didn't have a monkey. He loved Toto too much. Slowly and steadily, the monkey grew mischievous and began to create troubles. Finally, grandfather sold it to the Tonga driver. Let us see the explanation of the chapter. Grandfather bought Toto from a Tonga driver for the sum of 5 rupees. The Tonga driver used to keep the little red monkey tied to a feeding trough. And the monkey looked so out of place there that grandfather decided he would add the little fellow to his private zoo. Feeding trough means a large container for feeding animals. Tonga, horse cart. The writer's grandfather purchased a monkey named Toto from a Tonga driver by paying 5 rupees to him. The Tonga driver had tied the little red colored monkey to a feeding trough so that he could not run away. When the writer's grandfather saw the monkey, he had a desire to add him to the collection of animals which he had in his zoo at home. Toto was a pretty monkey. His bright eyes sparkled with mischief beneath deep set eyebrows, and his teeth, which were a pearly white, were very often displayed in a smile that frightened the life out of elderly Anglo-Indian ladies. But his hands looked dried up as though they had been pickled in the sun for many years. Yet his fingers were quick and wicked, and his tail, while adding to his good looks, grandfather believed a tail would add to anyone's good looks, also served as a third hand. He could use it to hang from a branch, and it was capable of scooping up any delicacy that might be out of reach of his hands. Anglo Indian means a person relating to both Britain and India. Pickled means food that is preserved in vinegar. Scooping up, lifting. The writer gives a description of Toto here. He had bright, shiny eyes which were full of mischiefs. The eyebrows were deeply set on his face. His teeth were like pearls. Many ladies belonging to the Anglo-Indian community got scared when they saw his teeth, which were displayed when he smiled. Toto's hands were dry and wrinkled as if they had been dried in the sun like pickled vegetables. He had a long tail. The writer's grandfather thought that the tail added to the good looks of an animal. Toto's tail was like a third hand for him. It helped him hang from the branch of a tree. He also used it to lift objects which were beyond his hands' reach. Grandfather always first when grandmother always first when grandfather brought home some new bird or animal. So it was decided that Toto's presence should be kept a secret from her until she was in a particularly good mood. Grandfather and I put him away in a little closet opening into my bedroom wall, where he was tied securely, or so we thought, to a peg fastened into the wall. Peg, peg means a hook, hooty, you can say. The writer's grandmother was against the grandfather's attitude of bringing new pets, birds and animals. So the grandfather thought that they would cancel this fact from her until she was in a good mood. At that time, they would disclose this to her. The writer and his grandfather secured Toto in a little cupboard in the writer's room in order to be sure that Toto did not escape. They tied him to a hook in the wall. A few hours later, when grandfather and I came back to release Toto, we found that the walls, which had been covered with some ornamental paper chosen by grandfather, now stood out as naked brick and plaster. The peg in the wall had been wrenched from its socket, and my school blazer, which had been hanging there, was in shreds. I wondered that grandmother would say, what could grandmother would say. But didn't worry. He seemed pleased with Toto's performance. Ornamental means decorative, naked means uncovered, wrenched, broke, socket, attachment, shreds cut into thin slices. The writer and his grandfather went to Toto after a few hours. The sight was shocking. Toto had torn the decorative wallpaper, he had broken the hook and had escaped from his binding. Also, he tore the writer's blazer into thin pieces. He is clever, said grandfather. Given time, I am sure he could have tied the torn pieces of your blazer into a rope and made his escape from the window. Grandfather was quite delighted, quite happy to see Toto's adventure. He felt that Toto was very clever monkey. He said that if they would have given him more time, he would have tied the thin pieces of the writer's torn blazer into a rope and would have escaped out of the window. His presence in the house still a secret. Toto was now transferred to a big cage in the servants' quarters where a number of grandfather's pets lived very socially together. A tortoise, a pair of rabbit, a tame squirrel, and for a while my pet goat. But the monkey wouldn't allow any of his companion to sleep at night, so grandfather, who had to leave Dehradun next day to collect his pension in Saharanpur, decided to take him along. Socially means in a friendly manner. Toto was shifted to the servants' quarter. He was put in a cage. He would live with the other pets in grandfather's zoo. The zoo comprised of a tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a squirrel, and the writer's pet goat. Toto was very mischievous. He didn't let the animals sleep at night. The writer's grandfather had to leave for Saharanpur the next day. He decided to take Toto along as he was unmanageable. He would disturb the other animals. Unfortunately, I could not accompany grandfather on that trip, but he told me about it afterwards. A big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. This, with some straw at the bottom, became his new abode. Abode means home, ghar. But the bag was closed. There was no escape. Toto could not get his hands through the opening, and the canvas was too strong for him to bite his way through. His efforts to get out only had the effect of making the bag roll about on the floor or occasionally jump into the air, an exhibition that attracted a curious crowd of onlookers on the Dehradun railway platform. The writer was disappointed as he could not accompany his grandfather and Toto in the trip. His grandfather narrated the happenings of the trip to him later on. He had got a special bag for Toto. It was made of a strong material canvas. He placed some dry straw grass at the bottom of the bag on the trip. The bag would be Toto's home as he would live in it. The bag had a zipper on top of it. The writer's grandfather ensured that when the bag was closed, Toto would not be able to escape out of it. Neither could he come out of the opening as it was closed with a zipper, nor could it bite the strong canvas material in order to run away. Still, Toto made unsuccessful attempts to come out of the bag. Due to this, many times the bag would roll on the floor or it would certainly jump in the air. These movements were noticed by the people on the railway platform and made them curious to know what was inside the bag. Toto remained in the bag as far as Saharanpur, but while grandfather was producing his ticket at the railway turnstile, Toto suddenly poked his head out of the bag and gave the ticket collector a wide grin. Grin means laugh. Turnstile Turnstile is a mechanical gate consisting of revolving horizontal arm fixed to a vertical post, allowing only one person at a time to pass through. Toto remained secured in grandfather's bags till Saharanpur. At the Saharanpur railway station, the writer's grandfather was taking out of his ticket to cross the turnstile. At that time, Toto peeked out of the bag and smiled at the ticket collector. The poor man was taken aback, but with great presence of mind and much to grandfather's annoyance, he said, "Sir, you have a dog with you. You will have to pay for it accordingly." Taken aback means surprised. Annoyance means to anger someone. The ticket collector was very surprised to see a monkey in grandfather's bag. He recovered quickly and asked grandfather to pay the ticket money for traveling with the dog. In vain did grandfather take Toto out of the bag. In vain did he try to prove that a monkey didn't qualify as a dog or even as a quadruped. Toto was classified a dog by the ticket collector and 3 rupees was the sum handed over as his fare. Vain means an unsuccessful attempt. Quadruped means an animal which has 4 feet. Fare means ticket or price. Grandfather was unsuccessful in explaining to the ticket collector that Toto was a monkey and not a dog. He insisted that Toto was not even an animal with 4 feet, but the ticket collector was firm that Toto fell in the category of dogs. Grandfather had to pay 3 rupees for Toto's. Then grandfather, just to get his own bag, took from his pocket our pet tortoise and said, "What must I pay for this since you charge for all animals?" To get his own bag means idiom to take revenge. Badla lena. Grandfather was disappointed and in order to take revenge from the ticket collector, he took out his pet tortoise from his pocket. He asked if he was supposed to buy a ticket for it too. The ticket collector looked closely at the tortoise. prodded it with his forefinger, gave grandfather a pleased and triumphant look, and said, "No charge. It is not a dog." Prodded means pushed. The ticket collector took a close look at the tortoise, pushed it slightly, and announced that grandfather was not required to buy a ticket for it as it did not fall in the category of a dog. When Toto was finally accepted by grandmother, he was given a comfortable home in the stable, where he had for a companion the family donkey Nana. On Toto's first night in the stable, grandfather paid him a visit to see if he was comfortable. To his surprise, he found Nana without apparent cause, pulling at her halter and trying to keep her head as far as possible from a bundle of hay. Stable means building set apart and adapted for keeping horses. Halter, it is a strap or loop placed around the head of a horse or other animal used for leading or tethering it. The writer's grandmother finally came to know of Toto's presence in the house. She allotted him space in the stable along with the family donkey Nana. On the first night in the stable, grandfather visited Toto. He found Nana restless, pulling its robe in order to stay away from the heap of hay. Grandfather gave Nana a slap across her haunches and she jerked back, dragging Toto with her. He had fastened onto her long ears with his sharp little teeth. Toto and Nana never became friends. Haunches means back. Grandfather hit Nana on the back in order to stop it. Nana jumped back with a jerk and Toto was dragged along with her. A great treat for Toto during cold winter evenings was the large bowl of warm water given him by grandmother for his bath. He would cunningly test the temperature with his hand, then gradually step into the bath, first one foot, then the other, as he had seen me doing, until he was into the water up to his neck. Once comfortable, he would take the soap in his hands and feet and rub himself all over. When the water became cold, would get out and run as quickly as he could to the kitchen fire in order to dry himself. If anyone laughed at him during his performance, Toto's feelings would be hurt and he would refuse to go on with his bath. One day, Toto nearly succeeded in boiling himself alive. In the winter season, Toto enjoyed having a warm bath. He would pretend to be selfish and before starting his bath, he would check the temperature of the water. He would copy the writer and stepped into the tub, one foot at a time. Finally, he would sit in the water with his face out of it. Then he would rub himself with soap. When the writer became cold, he would run out of it. When the water became cold, he would run out of it to the stove in the kitchen in order to dry himself. Toto got annoyed if it was laughed upon. He would get hurt and then refuse to take bath. The writer recollects an incident when Toto had almost boiled. A large kitchen kettle had been left on the fire to boil for tea, and Toto, finding himself with nothing better to do, decided to remove the lid. Finding the water just warm enough for a bath, he got in. With his head sticking out from the open kettle, this was just fine for a while, until the water began to boil. Toto then raised himself a little, but finding it cold outside, sat down again. He continued hopping up and down for some time until grandmother arrived and hauled him half boiled out of the kettle. Hauled means pulled him out. In a large kettle, water was boiling on the stove. Toto climbed up to the stove and removed the lid from it. He felt that the water was warm enough for him to take a bath. He entered the kettle with his head out of it. When the water started boiling, it became hot for Toto. He thought of coming out of the kettle, but as the temperature outside was cold for him, he stayed in it. Toto kept on jumping in the kettle for a while. It was when the writer's grandmother arrived that she took the half boiled monkey out of the kettle. If there is a part of the brain specially devoted to mischief, that part was largely developed in Toto. He was always tearing things to pieces. Whenever one of my aunts came near him, he made every effort to get hold of her dress and tear a hole in it. If there is a part in our brain that governs our ability to create mischief, then that part is Toto's brain. It was highly developed as had great capacity to do mischief. He was always busy doing mischiefs. Whenever the writer's aunt passed him, he tried to tear their dresses. One day at lunchtime, a large dish of pulao stood in the center of the dining table. We entered the room to find Toto stuffing himself with rice. My grandmother screamed, and Toto threw a plate at her. One of my aunts rushed forward and received a glass of water in the face. When grandfather arrived, Toto picked up the dish of pulao and made his exit through a window. We found him in the branches of the jackfruit tree, the dish still in his arm. He remained there all afternoon, eating slowly through the rice, determined on finishing every grain. And then, in order to spite grandmother, who had screamed at her, he threw the dish down from the tree and chattered with delight when it broke into 100 pieces. Spite means a desire to hurt, annoy or offend someone. Chattered, the sound made by the monkey. The writer recollects another incident when Toto created a lot of mischief. At lunchtime, a dish of rice was placed on the dining table. When the family reached to eat, they found Toto eating it. The writer's grandmother screamed at Toto, and in response, he threw a plate at her. When the aunts tried to catch Toto, he threw a glass of water in their face. When the grandfather arrived, Toto left the place through a window with a dish of rice along with him. Toto remained out the entire afternoon. He sat on a branch of the jackfruit tree, determined to eat all the rice. As the grandmother had screamed on him, he wanted to annoy her, he wanted to take revenge on her. So, further, after eating the rice, he threw the dish. It broke into several pieces. Obviously, Toto was not the sort of pet we could keep for long. Even grandfather realized that we were not well to do and could not afford the frequent loss of dishes, clothes, curtains, and wallpaper. So grandfather found the Tonga driver and sold Toto back to him for only 3 rupees. Finally, grandfather realized that Toto was not suitable to be kept at home. They could not afford the frequent losses that he gave him. He tore clothes, curtains, wallpapers, and broke dishes. So the grandfather sold Toto back to the same Tonga driver for a sum of 3 rupees. This is all, students. I hope you all have understood. Thank you for watching the video.